How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Action Filmmaking Decoded podcast. I'm your host, Darren Tun, and my co host is here, Skylar Tun. But today's podcast is going to be all about John Wick. As we stated in the first episode, we're pretty big fans of John Wick, so we wanted to do an action scene breakdown of a couple of the scenes. Is that right?
Yeah. We just wanted to pick two of what we would call the most significant scenes. Keanu Reeves is a pretty big action film filmography from all the Matrix movies, and I know some people will probably crucify me for this, but Constantine, Constantine
Constantine,
was a
yes.
thing. But John Wick is really where it's at.
Yeah, definitely. I think Honest Trailers did like a little thing on John Wick. I mean, they've been doing Honest Trailers on John Wick for a while, but they were saying like this is his like sixth time playing a character named John.
I actually haven't seen that the Honest Trailers episode.
Yeah, they were saying something like that though. No, yeah, it's really interesting because he's been in other things like Speed, Matrix, you name it, right? And obviously like the Matrix was more of like I would say a floaty kind of style of fighting opposed to John Wick, which is more rough around the edges. And I think like Skylar was saying previously, more like efficient.
Y-
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
The action in John Wick, I mean, there is a lot of emotion in it, especially with the first movie where John's primary motive is, well, revenge, but he's still able to maintain a very efficient, professionalist, and proper attitude when taking care of his opponents. But he always does it very fast.
Efficiency, like you said. Yeah.
Yep. Let's take a look at one of the more notable fight scenes from the first movie, and that would be the Red Circle.
All right,
Uh,
yeah. So this episode, we're gonna be diving into the Red Circle fight scene. We'll probably do another episode breaking down a different fight scene, but yeah, if you guys just want to type in John Wick club scene on YouTube or something, we'll probably leave a link at the bottom of this episode if you guys want to check out that fight scene and watch it for yourself before you hear about our breakdown. Um, that way you can get up to date on what we're talking about if you don't really remember the movie.
right. So the scene starts off in the bathroom. One of the henchmen, one of Yosef's henchmen, is using the sink, and before he realizes John's about to for lack of a better term, fuck him up. He looks behind him and he sees one of his friends smeared across the wall.
Yeah.
So I guess the first thing that we can take from this scene is really, well, first off, we should note the lighting and the music is
Mhm.
more reflective of this kind of eerie and a silent kind of hate that John holds
Mhm.
against these men.
Yeah, it's
And
very I see a lot of like reds, blues. It looks like this bathroom too was probably lit um with separate lights. Like it doesn't look like this bathroom was originally lit this way and when they found the set, and it looks like they actually went in there and put in different gels, like blue gels, and put those candles in like to give that like blue red kind of color tone to it.
right, you're probably better talking about colors than me. Um, but the manner that he kills this henchman, really, well, as far as I know, he stabs him, then he pushes his face into the sink. He gets the information he needs, then he snaps his neck, and it's done. It's very quick, it's very efficient, and you know, for the lack of a better term, it's very professional because he's not looking to make this particular guy suffer, and
Mhm.
we can see that in the other examples with the other men in the club as he advances. So after the bathroom scene, you see that Yosef's team has secured the club. They're on the cameras. They're trying to look for John, and John is just sweeping through the facility. He's, stabbing people through the neck. He's executing them quietly, quickly, most likely in ways that are instant. So there is, well, one, no pain, and two, it's efficient.
Right.
But it's when John stops and sees Yosef that he loses his footing. When the guy comes out of, it's probably the bathroom, he comes out of another room and he sees John. He's about to pull out his gun, and that leads to a physical altercation. And
Yeah.
they fall through the shelf.
That
So,
seems really interesting. Yeah,
yeah,
I saw that too. Where the camera is kind of panning backwards, and then you kind of get this really cool shot of like um
the
the
shelf
shelf
falling over.
the
Yeah,
shelf of towels falling over. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
hmm And then, really, after after John Wick kills a few more guys, the kind of look that you see in John's face and the hesitation. Well, I wouldn't really call it hesitation. It's more like he's inserting fear directly into a Yosef because it's a death stare. There's no better way to put it. Yeah, and
It kind of looks like what he's saying there is like, hey, I know that I can kill you right now if I wanted to. It's like a authoritative kind of look.
yeah, it's very commanding, and
Mhm.
it kind of lends to the theme that they treat John Wick as this angel of death. Like he controls when you die and how you die.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
um, I do want to note the glass window scene because when he's shooting Yosef, he doesn't. Well, obviously he doesn't shoot him in the club. He keeps hitting these windows, and I do think that there is something significant there because they try to focus a lot on how the glass shatters. And
hmm
I don't know what's your take on that because I feel like it's symbolic in some way.
I never thought about that, but if you have some sort of analysis on that, I'd love to hear it.
I think that how should I put this? It's more of a representative paradigm of how John has to go through all of these. Normally, these obstacles would mean nothing to him. I mean, he's the legendary John Wick. He's the Angel of Death, the Grim Reaper. But now that he was retired for a time, and now there's all these people in his way. It's just these obstacles that he has to go through, and he'll bust right through them, but they're still there. And after the glass window scene, actually no, it's more of a glass wall. Sorry. After the glass wall scene, we move to the main. I guess you could say dance area. I don't know. I don't go to clubs.
But before we jump to that scene first,
Yeah.
there is a scene that we missed where the guy jumps out of the hot tub.
Oh, the muscle guy.
The muscle guy, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I think they like to do this a lot, where they have another stuntman or another just like henchman guy just coming
Yeah.
out of like the frame from the bottom. So it's like, oh wow, like the obstacle is clear. I mean, like it's clear of obstacles, or like this is where I need to go, and then like bam, like they shoot like another guy up just right underneath from where he's supposed to go. So
Yeah. Muscle Man
yeah,
here can serve as a very good example of, in a way, misdirection, because like you said, the path is clear. He's right there. Just shoot him. No, Muscle Man. No,
yeah.
he's uh he's a stone in his step. But
And he shoots this guy a lot of times too.
yeah, that's another example of, well, John's efficiency, because he shoots him in the chest twice, as far as I remember. Then he shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Not that he's trying to make him suffer. He just wants to be quick about it.
hmm
He's in his way. That's it. So let's move on to the main dance
The
area.
main club scene.
The
Yeah,
main
this is
club
the
scene.
awesome. This is an awesome scene. I thought, with all the slow motion. Obviously, you have tracking shots where Yusuf, his name's Yusuf, right?
Yosef,
He's
yeah.
kind of running with a towel, stumbling through. It's pretty obvious like the focus here, and I feel like they purposely tried to have him in like different attire so he's like stand out from the rest of the crowd. And I
Yeah,
think both of them also stand out pretty well from the crowd just because of what they're wearing and like the way they're acting. Like the crowd, the extras, and everyone else, like they're very, you know, like I wouldn't say faceless, but it's almost like you don't really recognize like any particular person. Like no one's like really standing out. It's like very very focused on what's happening with
these two
Yusuf
characters.
and Wick. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that, and it might sound kind of funny, but the rest of the crowd is kind of in a way synonymous to like a video game crowd where you're just walking through. All the character models could look the same for all you care, but
Yeah.
it's cool because you're walking through a crowd, and I think they
Right.
make very good use of that kind of claustrophobic feeling. Like John is just brushing, he's brushing through the crowd like a farmer who's cutting down wheat in a field, and Yosef
Definitely.
here is he's very scared. And I think that,
Yeah.
like you said, with the towel, they make a they do a very good job distinguishing him from the rest of the crowd and just showing the sheer panic that he's going through. Like, oh shit, the Grim Reaper's on my tail. Like,
Hmm.
it's it's very powerful. But I actually do want to make note on a very minute detail.
Okay.
For the beginning of the scene, when the camera first pans into this dance area, you see in the background there's like a hypno swirl kind of
Yeah, coming out from behind of John, right?
right.
Yeah.
It's like I know it's a very minute detail. It's probably just to go with the club and the neo-noir um, aesthetic, but
Hmm.
I don't know. There's something about it that just sticks out a lot, and it fits so well with the scene.
Yeah. And I also really like how they made um Yusuf's shot almost sped up in this scene. It looks like he's very jittery, it looks like he's very nervous. It's real time. And John comes into the scene and it's like immediately slow motion. Like he just walks in slowly. They slow down the shot so much and just cuts back to John. He's in slow motion. Yusuf, he's in real time. Just like this contrast.
Right. Um, but this part of the scene is probably the strongest point where they use music and lighting to create this ambiance of well, really pure suspense and I guess the feeling of inevitability that this guy is coming for you.
Hmm.
But after this scene, there are further displays of John's his efficiency, his professionalist attitude, because I'm pretty sure in almost every shot, no, every shot he takes is a headshot and it kills instantly. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't miss. He
It's
doesn't miss.
nothing but headshots.
Yeah, and there is one part of that scene that I do want to note. You know when he was taking his time to like reload and everything.
Yeah. And you just see like the um
You see the magazine fall out and
yeah,
you
you
see
see
him
the
put it back in
magazine
slowly.
dropping out of the weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they did that on purpose for it to stand
Of
out
course.
because
Yeah.
the gun fu aside and everything, it's like these guys are nothing to him. They're just
Exactly.
wheat in a
Just
field.
dropping like flies.
Yep, they're all just dropping like flies. And well, the two last opponents that John has to face, I don't know his name. He's the bald guy with the beard, and
Yeah. There
Yosef
was this
Maine, of
thing
course.
online
Yeah,
where it was like this bald guy with the beard, he's been a stunt double in like a lot of different movies, and I
yeah,
think like they recognized him in like three different films, and they were like, "Yo, the same guy went 0 to 3 or whatever
yeah.
against like Batman, the Accountant, and John Wick."
Yeah. It was Ben Affleck in The Accountant, Denzel
Yeah.
Washington in why am I forgetting it now? I just had the name. That's okay. And now John Wick. But we should note that two headshots. Well, one shot to the foot and then two headshots. It's very quick. It's certainly faster than The Accountant or Denzel Washington would have had it. And well, unfortunately, with the encounter with the last guy, John Wick loses, but he still tries to maintain the attitude where he finishes them off quick. He's
Mm.
very professional about it, and I think that creates this very interesting dynamic where it's not John and his equal. It's more like John and this piece of paper. He's just shredding through them.
He also really, really like goes over the top to like overdo things. Like, okay, he's dead already. One headshot. Oh no,
Yeah,
another one. Just another headshot in the same place.
yeah. They keep the gun fu very simplistic. They're very conservative about how many kicks and punches they use. There really aren't many to speak of. And the one jujitsu maneuver he does is really the only one that they take their time with to make notice of when he was about to meet up with the last two opponents. So it's a what we can take from all of this is, and I'm sorry I keep repeating it, he's very professional.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he's efficient. Like you can tell, Hitman style, man.
Hitman style. Yeah,
But one last thing I want to point out about this scene, it's just the last part where he goes up against the last guy, um,
and he falls off the
and
balcony.
then he falls off the side. I did
Yeah,
see a behind the scenes bit on this where they actually had a stunt double here. Obviously, Keanu, he does a lot of his own stunts, which makes it really awesome. But I think this one in particular, where they were throwing him off the side of um
the
they
upper
were throwing
level.
him over the balcony. Pretty much they used a stunt double, and the rigging was really short for this particular scene, so they didn't really have that much room to be able to work with for the drop. So I guess it was a little bit more dangerous, and then they pieced together two different shots where stunt double was dropping kind of like halfway, and then like from the halfway point just straight down to the floor. um yeah, and those were like kind of two scenes put together. It looked pretty seamless, in my opinion. It looked pretty good. I could kind of tell there was like a little jump cut there where he was like falling down, but I think it looked pretty seamless because they actually had like a still camera, which is I think um, the
It's
main
what you're
trick to
looking for.
doing,
Yeah.
yeah, cut shots. Well, if that's what you call them. The main trick to doing those kinds of shots where you have a lot of VFX, you have a still camera normally. So
Yeah.
um, I think they pulled this off pretty well, especially hearing that they were also lacked stunt doubles, which is what I heard. They lacked stunt men, I think, so they had to reuse like a lot of stunt men for later scenes in this scene. So pretty much they started everyone out with like a lot of hair. They started everyone out with like, a lot of makeup, hair, whatever. And closer to the end of the scene, they just stripped away a lot of the hair that the stunt doubles had, the stunt men had. And they were like, that's how you know that they were running out of stunt guys when they start getting balder and balder as the scene progresses.
Yeah. Well, the jump cut, in my opinion, actually made the that fall seem a lot harder, if you know what I mean. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it
that's what I
was a
like. That's
short
what I
fall,
mean.
but it
The
was
jump
very
cut. Yeah,
impactful.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right. I guess that's all the notes we have for the scene.
the notes.
Um, yeah. um, but yeah, come back next time for the next episode, and we're gonna be breaking down another scene, the subway fight scene with Common.